Let me just pull it up. This is actually my first. Let me just lower the volume. It's a bit loud. Time ever filming and posting a full pickup run, so I wanted to put together some of my over here. This seems like a normal type of move. I'm just gonna pass it around. Too crazy. To be fair, I was playing against defense. A lot of comments in the past they were mentioning that I don't have any defensive fight. Here is the real showing. Let's look at this criticism. Am I always looking down? Yes, I am right here. Fair enough. And then I'm gonna do a spin. Is this considered too many dribbles? I think that's fine. And then do a spin move into a layup. That looks fine right now. Let's get and then let's see over here. I'm gonna do a pump fake. No, I'm going to drive in. Let's see if this clip. Am I always looking down right here? Here, head fake and then straight into the drive. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of a step back. A lot of people also complaining about the shove. I think that's okay here. Let's see. I've got them handles and I'm going to drive in and then go for a layup. Again, that's fine. I think most of the criticism comes later, seeing that I'm getting a bit tired. Also, the defender matters. So this is my friend right here. Going to cross over and then spin again. Again, that looks perfectly fine to me. I guess it becomes later when I start to get a little bit more tired. Here I'm looking down. Okay, I understand right here. Too many dribbles. Alright, and then into the pump fake step through. Let's run that back. Okay, so off of the check, I'm going to look down. But I feel like a lot of people, you're looking down at the feet because you're trying to understand where to go. So if you look right here, his feet parallel, I can either go left or go right. But I noticed defender is on the right side. That's why I opt to go to the left side. And then you can see maybe too many dribbles. One thing I do have a problem is in and out and then try to cross, okay, between the legs. And then, okay, at this point in time, I believe that I am trying to cross the board to the left side. But unfortunately, I lose the handle. That's something I can work on. As you can see, I'm frantically trying to get the ball. And now spin to the left side. Again, I feel a wall. And I'm going to pump fake into the step through. So I feel like the shooting is bailing out a lot of the dribbling. Okay, fair enough. And here I'm going to lose the ball. I'm going to run around. Yeah, a little bit too much dribbling once again. And then go into the drive. But can that be an advantage sometimes? So what I'm going to see here, after the step through. Wait, where was it? Okay, collect the rebound. And then over here, already screwed up the dribbling, but it looks okay. What am I trying to do in this position? I want to try to drive attack, no passing. Everyone's just standing around. Here, I lose the dribble. What was I trying to do? Was I trying to cross it between the legs? I think my assumption is I was trying to drive left, but then I fumbled the ball. Oh, I was trying to between the legs. See, I think that's a problem that I face. The handles is an issue, so maybe that guy's comment was valid. So because I lost the handle in the between the legs, I'm forced to try to get the ball back. I'm fumbling a bit. Luckily, defender doesn't come up because he's expecting the drive, and then I still do it anyway. Into a push cross to the right, and then gather from the free throw line, and then take those 2 steps. I think one of the benefits of me is the unconventional layup types. Because in this position, I'm going to have to do this and then hook it over. So that's something that I'm used to doing as well. Okay, what happens here? I'm going to go in and then this looks fine as well. This is one of the moves I like. It's a change of direction. So drive left and then once I feel, initiate a little bit of contact and then cross straight to the right side and then drive in that direction. Staying a little bit low and then feel the defender not coming up and then go straight into a layup. The only problem I do have is doing so many layups, I get very gassed out. To be honest, my cardio isn't that great. Alright, what am I going to do here? Looks like... Okay, one comment the guy had. He said my vision is a little bit lacking. I now see I have this man right here pointing into the sky. The issue though, when I'm inside the game, these guys, they usually don't cut to the rim. So even if I pass to here, this guy is just going to be standing here. So I'd be forced to pass to him over there. This is why in this position, I'm not looking to pass. You can see help defender is already waiting to get him on defense, and then the other guys will probably just rotate. Finger pointing up to this man right here. Another issue, I think, is that even if I pass it to him, knowing him, my friends will tend to not shoot it immediately. So even if I pass it to him, it's more ISO. I'll just shoot it right here and it's going in. I'm confident because the defender is slightly too low. And I'm going to continue attacking, but this time, okay, another thing that people criticize, he's going to say I'm dribbling too much, but this is intentional. So what I'm going to do is cross to the left. This behind the back, intentional. I know the position looks a little bit awkward, but after I do this into the step back, I am comfortable shooting it from this position. But what I notice is that a lot of people tend to be caught ball watching, which means that I can pass it to my friend over here and he'll be wide open for the shot. If your shooting is good, why take so many dribbles? Because I'm trying to practice other aspects of my game, if you feel me. Because if I only shoot, then my dribbling will never improve. Remember that this arc, I'm trying to do everything I can to improve weaknesses, so that's why I'm taking those type of shots. Think about layups as well. The reason why I'm taking so many layups in this game is because I want to try to avoid jacking up threes, which I can already do. The only way to improve is to try things new. If you see, I'm going to post another pickup session probably on Thursday or Friday, and in that session, you're going to see that my ability to shoot is going to be on display. But this one specifically was a Friday night. I was trying to learn some new moves. Anyway, you're going to see that I'm going to pass it to him. He's wide open. He's going to shoot that and make it in. Okay, next play right here. Heads up, pass it to this guy, and he's going to drive in for a layup. So I do pass. I did cut some of the highlights because the video would have been too long. Is this another example of too many dribbles? But I noticed that the same defender is sagging on the same player on offense, so he's going to make that. Now I'm going to post in. Is this another example of not passing the ball? But I feel comfortable taking these type of shots. So if you see, after this basket is made, I'm going to attack. The dribbling, again, a little bit awkward, but that's the way I play. Always looking down at the feet. Again, strategically, looking up is good, but if you look where I'm looking at where his feet are planting, because this can help me determine if I should go left or should I go right. And then you're going to be able to see, in this position, I noticed that he's going too much to the right, so I'm going to attack the left, post up. A little bit awkward of a position. I do understand that I have two guys over here wide open, but I want to practice and I feel a little bit confident. I know the defenders are going to start reaching. I'm going to do a little bit of movement, get myself open, and I feel comfortable that even if I rise up, they're not going to block it. I'm fading away, jumping very high up. If you can see how high it is exactly, it's kind of roughly like 20-30 centimeters from the rim, so it's pretty much unblockable for most people. So once I shoot this shot, it's going to go in, something that I'm comfortable. How do you know which way to drive if you're looking at his front foot? Okay, let's run this back. Every single time I'm looking, see his foot right here, it's lifted in the air. There's two choices. His foot can either come to the front or go to the back. That will determine the direction of attack. Sorry. So if you notice carefully, he's going to plant his feet like this. In this position, he's fronting the right-hand drive. So if I go in, it's straight into the middle of his body. So that's exactly why I'm going to go the other way. So by looking down at his feet, I'm going to be able to learn that I should be going into the left side. So if you're going to watch this carefully, you'll see that I'm going to start going to the left. And because of this, look how deep I get in position. If I drove to the right side, I would have been walled in. And then you can see there's all these guys collapsing. What days are you at KGV? Usually on Friday nights if my friends are there. The reason because when I try to film videos, right now it's like the first time I'm doing it. I want to film people that I know because it's a little bit awkward filming randoms. They might get a little bit angry, or like if I make highlights, they might want me to take down the video. So everyone in this video right now, they're all my friends and they all have consent for me to post the video. So maybe as I get bigger, more randoms will know who I am and then they'll be comfortable to be on stream. But generally on the Friday nights, otherwise I'll go to the house or AUSA locations. But yes, I feel very comfortable going up against defenders in the post because I know the fadeaway, I can get that shot off. Okay, next clip. People again complaining, what's going on here? Pump fake, get stuck, and then shoot that. Once again, I do have the criticism that I should not have shot that shot. It was looking a little bit awkward, but if I go back a bit, I'm just going to attack straight to the left and then get stuck. I'm doing a step back fake it. What's the comment say? Bad shot selection? No. The thing is, I'm comfortable. See, I'm right here looking to pass. I got two guys open. This dude wide open. This dude wide open. But I know Mr. Orange can close out extremely quickly. These guys will close out. So even if they get the ball, that's going to be a contested shot. But the one thing I do is take shots that are unexpected. Because if you think about it, I'm looking like I'm going to pass. So this is kind of like a pass fake into a shot. Think about it. If you are passing the ball, they're not going to expect you to shoot it. Look at my feet position. It looks like I'm doing some sort of running or something, but I'm looking at the rim. And also look at the gather. Remember, I make a lot of shorts based on weird stuff like different type of gathers. And this is an example of a high gather. The thing is, I practice this type of shooting. So I know I'm basically closer than the free throw line. The guy is not contesting whatsoever. I shoot that, and it's something that I'm comfortable taking. So something you guys need to practice is weird stuff, because sometimes I won't expect it. Here, I think this is just normal shooting, so there's nothing much to explain. The only thing is, people accuse me of doing a fake leg kick. I cannot believe people think I'm faking a leg kick. Had to make some shorts regarding that, but then step back into the side step. A lot of people think that you can just land normally, but if the defender is coming so far contesting like this, I have to leg kick to avoid getting Zaza'd, because if he came at me from a more straight angle, I know my ankles are in danger if I land straight. So that's another reason why I sidestepped that leg kick. And as you can see, the reason why I landed in this position is to avoid any Zaza Pachulia situation in case his feet end up here. And I promise you that in this game, I cut it out of the highlights. I almost got a Zaza'd on a possession. That's why I had to move my feet out of their way. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So that's cool. You leg kick as well when you drive, yes. But I don't know. I got a lot of haters saying that leg kicks are fake. Maybe they don't ball enough. Anyway, that's fine. And then here, catch the rebound. Again, I know guy is open right here, but this man has insane speed. I know even if I passed it, that's going to be heavily contested. It might not look like it at the screen, but everyone at this court can play defense. See, he's already run straight onto the baseline 3. And I know that I'm comfortable. Pump fake, nope. I say give him the ball, and then this man right here, all game long, they were disrespecting. He was standing under the paint wide open all night. Pass him the ball, and that's a wide open layup. Okay, also the full uncut video is on my channel. It's on the highlight video, so you can see that as well. Here's just a normal 3. Another thing people don't realize, the form. They say I have extremely strange form. That is true, but there's benefits. Think about why Steph Curry's shot is so wildly successful. Imagine you're this guy right here. I'm just turning around, and by the time he sees me, one dribble, straight into the 3-pointer, basically no time to do much else. If you have a set shot, let's say you have a, what's it called, two motion shot, you can kind of predict if they're shooting it because they have to jump up, reach the peak, and then release the ball. But a shot like this, you just dribble it once, and I'm already shooting it by the time he reacts, and he actually contests very well. Think about it. I'm playing pickup. These guys are playing serious defense. It's not an open gym. The fact that I have to shoot it from a little bit behind the line, this is kind of almost like the NBA 3-point line. And I got to shoot it immediately or I'm getting blocked. And I promise you, I get blocked a lot if I'm not careful because they know how I play. Now I'm going to attack the left side. This is a little bit interesting. Conventionally, people usually say that when you drive on the left, you should jump off the right foot and finish with the left hand. That's the conventional way of shooting the ball. But in this case, I'm going to go 2 steps and then spin around and throw up the shot like that. This type of finish is actually quite necessary for a lot of situations. I know the guy was referring to a lot of counters. I think this is a counter because I've been doing a lot of layups the whole time. So when I'm driving in, you can see I'm going to go into a 2-foot plant and he expects me to take that shot right away, and then I'm going to spin a bit. Does my pivot foot move? Yes, I did. I probably traveled. That is something I'm trying to work on, because a lot of people comment about traveling, a little micro shifts in foot movement. I understand I do that a lot. So next time, I'm going to fix up my footwork. People travel all the time. You just don't notice until you see it on camera, and then throw that up and in. Yes, that was a travel. Okay, fair enough. But there was some worse travels than that. Alright. Another open 3. For some reason, this game, I always had to shoot it like a little bit far behind the 3-point line. And the form is weird. It's weird, but sadly, the guy doesn't contest. But even if he contested, the shot is quickly going up. Okay, next play. Too much dribbling. Okay, this is my fault. I was trying to try a little bit of some fancy footwork. A little bit unnecessary. What am I trying to do? I'm going to do a James Harden between the legs. Usually you can step back straight away, but I cross over and do the same thing. In this situation, I probably should have passed it earlier, but all the defenders are looking right at me. And then I'm going to fake it. Look, he's already exactly like my normal shooting form. I could have shot this right now, but he was a little bit too close. So I know pass to the teammate, wide open. They also were ready to double team me like crazy. How to improve shooting under contest. I'll explain through some more contested shots here. Maybe I can even give you a sneak peek of the other videos coming up soon. Alright. This time, it's just too deep. Now, this shot on camera doesn't even look that far, but I promise you, it's like 2 feet behind the line. So usually, it wouldn't even be a shot that most people take. And I'm taking it off dribble, but yeah, they're going to live with that shot. That's fine. Okay, now I'm just camping. They started double teaming everyone driving. So now I'm camping at the 3-point line, ready to immediately pull it. I will have no hesitation pulling it. Why don't you hesi? I do hesi, but I don't want to make excuses, but I hyperextended my knee 2 weeks before these pickup games and still recovering. So for some reason, if I bend too low, like hesis, my knee starts hurting. So I was trying to minimize the type of movements. Okay. Alright, collect the rebound. Oh yeah, that pass. Okay, these guys were saying I'm making middle school level passes. I just like to pass in this sort of way. I don't know if there's something that's like a pro way of passing, but this is something that I'm comfortable with. I like to do these no-look passes because once I do it, this man is wide open. The pass isn't even that bad. He catches it and he's basically wide open. He could have taken that shot in this position right here. Instead, he's going to drive for a layup. That's still almost an assist anyway. And then what's going to happen, we're going to finish that off. Anyway, let's move on. Now I'm off ball again. Notice my defender is caught lacking. Going to catch that ball. Is this another situation where I could have passed it to an open man? Possibly so. But I know that this defender is smaller right here. I can just go straight up and then he's going to get cooked right here. Nothing much he can do. Okay, next possession. Now, I know this is my friend, so I can score every time against him. Little bit of a push-off, no. Okay, we got to analyze this because I feel like it was not an optimal play. Always looking down at the feet because based on this feet stance, I know that I can drive straight into middle. Going to the right will get cut off immediately. That's what I do. Maybe this jab step was slightly inefficient as well. Why did I jab step? I feel like from this position, I should have just went straight into the left drive. So that was a suboptimal movement. Because I'm going to square up. And then, what's this? What's the point of jabbing? No. Was this a fake? What was I doing? Yes, I can see why that guy was saying that I was wasting movements. Because from this position, definitely a situation where that footstep to the right was not needed. Should have went straight attack here. I understand what he meant in that regards, but I'm still looking at the feet because if you see the feet, this is screaming attack left immediately. So that's what I'm going to do, straight into the left and then explode. From this position, I'm very comfortable. Okay, little bit of a shove, but is that an offensive foul? I don't know. It's not too much. See, if you watch it in full time, it's just a little bit of a push, but the defender barely moves. If you look at his left foot, he basically walks back on his own. So I know people are complaining off arm pushing her like this is an offensive foul, but it depends how much force you use and if it affects the defender's momentum. If you watch NBA players like SGA, he chicken wings every single game. So I'm going to do a little bit of an off arm, lose the ball. Okay, so one thing as well, when I dribble without looking at the ball, I feel like I'm not confident. A lot of players might be able to relate to this. And you fumble it a little bit, it's a little bit embarrassing. Shouldn't you attack right to force him to switch stance and turn his hips? Okay, good question. Okay, the reasoning is because when I see this man right here, I know from the context of the game that he is going to help immediately because the other guy was not playing that well. So I know he's going to help straight away. So by attacking the left, the logic is that I know I can get off a mid-range shot right here because my friend here, he has a potential to seal off this dude, so he wouldn't be able to contest. And also, this guy is kind of inviting me right now in this feet position to go left. I'm trying to avoid help defense coming over, so that's why I attack this way. Little bit of a shove, lose the ball, and then almost get stolen, but I get that, recover, and then I'm just going to shoot it in. So if you give me any type of space, I will shoot it up, and yeah, live with the result. And then immediately on the next play, I'm feeling a little bit confident. Same thing again. Because I felt that he wasn't playing that great of defense, I'm going to go attack. This time, no shove whatsoever, just straight up step back. And then once I rise up, that's an insanely good contest. Usually the times like this, I might get blocked to be honest, but I know that I can get the shot off. Look at him, he's touching my fingers after. That is very close to a block, but you know, sometimes you get blocked, you live with the result. Gonna contest, wow, that's tough, and then it's gonna go in. Sometimes I feel guys brushing my fingertips, but if I shoot it, I know I can get it up. Sometimes they even touch the ball and it goes in. Those are some funny situations. But yeah. Okay, so that's 2 buckets in a row. So now we're going to try go for 3. As you can see, they switched defenders because I was cooking up too hard. And then, sorry to call out this man, but he just put his hands on his head. So this player is just bad defense because I just shoot it over him. Didn't even contest. Okay. On the next play, teammate going to miss the shot. And then this is another example of how you should be patient even if the situation is not the best. Because the ball, it's going to go out of bounds. I'm going to, no, almost out of bounds. It's bad angle. Okay, so in the future, I'll try to get more different type of camera angles. Something that I'll try to discuss. But as you can see, the ball is touching almost out of bounds. I'm going to collect it, almost step out myself. You can see how close I am to stepping out of bounds, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to collect that. Defenders are like, where am I going? I'm literally tippy-toeing along the edges, and then suddenly I'm going to catch it and shoot it straight away. That is a weird-looking shot. You can see they're laughing because you can't see from this angle, but I'm literally tiptoeing along the edge of the out, and then throw that up, and it's going in again. That's a weird shot, but sometimes that's how you practice. Okay, this is my bad. I thought the game ended, but there's one more possession or two. And then now, you can't see, but I'm going to drive aggressively to the left. Because this man just saw me shoot that weird shot in, I know they overplay. So if you overplay on defense, you need to attack. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to have different aspects of the game. People think that I can only shoot, but if you overplay, I can drive as well. I might not be the most athletic guy on the court, but it's something I can do. And go straight into attack mode, and then right hand finish. Notice, he's quite parallel, but I'm going to do a little bit of a jump a little far away from the basket, and then have to hang in the air, and then softly lay that up and in. Alright, off the rebound, I feel like at this point everyone's getting a little bit tired. And then, what's this? Between the leg combo, and then push to the right, step back, fake it, and then what's this? I pass it. Okay, this is another example of where they're saying I'm doing high school levels of passing. Fair enough. But if you think about it, who am I supposed to pass to? My teammate. I usually like to identify the mismatch. So teammate is in the paint, but he's got a bigger defender. That is not the right pass. And then I have another teammate here, but then I realized that the defender can also help there. this man is probably going to drive to the right and shoot up a shot, won't pass it here. And then my teammate here is getting defended. So I'm a little bit stuck right now about what to do. Wait till the last moment. And then here I identify, I use my eyes, and then I can see that my teammate... Oh, let's fix this up. I identify that my teammate is wide open here. I know it's not the best place to stand. He ran out to further than the 3-point line, but it's the right pass to make because this man is caught lacking looking at the ball. And then once teammate catches it, he can go straight into attack mode, pass it, and that's the right decision. Now, teammate is going to spin, get stuck. I'm going to get this ball after a fumble. Nice screen right here. Oh, this is probably my favorite play. So usually when someone screens on the ball, you expect it to go right around it. But in this position, look how close this is to getting stolen. Gonna go right, dribble cross, and this man almost is slapping my arm. Look how close this is to being a foul. But anyway, I don't really call fouls in pickup. So because I crossed it in time, he's forced to turn around the other way, which allows me to drive left. I'm not even that quick, but I'm quick enough to blow by and then go straight into a floater. That's a deep floater and throw that up and in. But my question is, was this the right decision? Because I feel like even if I drove to the right, this man's going to start overplaying, expecting a 3-pointer. So maybe I could have done a hesitation and then drive to the rim. But once again, there's help defense. So in my mind, this is my most comfortable shot based on the game situation. I know that the defenders are going to leave a massive open gap here because they're jumping for the 3-pointers and then they can't leave the paint in case of the drives. The best shot opportunity right here. As you can see, it's correct because when I shoot this, there's nobody in front. Did I jump too high? I like to jump like this. Okay, next play. And we also played for 2 hours straight, no breaks in between. I don't know why KGV on Friday nights has become so empty, but yeah, it is what it is. Shot selection, okay. Okay, by this point, I was getting a little bit comfortable, so I think they just fell asleep on defense. Because I'm in the paint, maybe they lost the matchup, but I'm just going to roll straight around. Nobody's in front. What's going on here? Would you consider this a tough shot? I think potentially so, because why do I catch it with my feet looking like this? Sometimes I do weird things, don't realize, and then square up and shoot it fade away. Even if they contest, I'm jumping high enough and shoot it fast enough, and then it's going again. But yeah, leg kick all the time, to be honest. This is this a justified leg kick, or am I tripping? I'm going fadeaway spinning to the right a little bit. I think that looks natural enough to me, but yeah, I have a habit of doing mad leg kick. Anyway. Next play right here, crossing over. Is this too many dribbles into the step back 3? Let's analyze. I know it's not the best angle, but here I'm going to go between the legs and then, what's this? In and out? No. Just a random dribble. Okay, maybe this dribble here is lacking purpose because I'm supposed to either attack left or attack right. But I just bounced the ball straight up and down. In my mind, I think the best thing I can explain is that I fumbled the ball, or like I didn't make a correct decision, but I basically just dribbled it up. And then from here into the step back, and then gather. This I'm very comfortable taking. So if you ever meet me, I will take the step back 3 any day. I just think the setup with the dribbles was not the cleanest. Or maybe I was trying to do the step back straight away and then straight up. As you see from the feet position, it's always like a little bit further back from the 3-point line. I feel like it's because I know the defenders, they're in a suboptimal position to be guarding deeper threes. If I was standing at the 3-point line, I feel like if I rose up, that's getting blocked because you can see how close it is. This man is basically almost touching my arm as I release. So if I step too close, that's getting blocked. Okay. How can I improve my hezi? Practice. So I'll give you some tips. When you do a hesitation, I think my favorite one is the in and out. So when you do the in and out, pretend like you're crossing, let's say right to left. The important thing is to move your body and your head in the direction. So if I cross right to left, I go like this, and then use your head and look in the direction and your body, shift your feet in that direction, and then push the other way and then move your body back. So the important thing about doing hesitations is you have to really sell the direction that you're going. So for an in and out hesi, you go right, look that direction, and then go left. If you're doing a normal hesitation, this is where it gets a little bit difficult, because to do a proper hesitation, you have to kind of cuff the ball on the side. But a lot of young kids, they go under. So a lot of hesitations, even in the NBA, they go under the ball, and then that becomes a carry. So proper hesitations are done where you need to dribble the ball very hard and don't palm it, but have it to the side, hold it for a bit, and then you can continue. It's actually quite difficult, but you can achieve it if you practice over time. Why don't you use more dribble moves? Okay. I actually have criticism of using too many dribble moves, because one thing you may not realize is dribbling from a low position uses a lot of energy. Your legs will start burning. And if you play like at this session 2 hours straight, you can get very tired towards the end. I believe this is already like 1.5 hours in. So most of us are already getting tired. All right, next shot. Here, I'm just going to catch that. Would you expect me to shoot that 3 straight away? Yes. So a benefit of being able to shoot is that defenders will overplay like crazy. You can see this dude is right above the 3-point line. How many people do you see catch a ball and then they're stepping above the 3-point line? So these guys on that day, they did not let me shoot 3-pointers like I usually do. Instead, what am I going to do? Going to cross over and drive right. This is important, because what happens if I go to the left? This defender is anticipating the left-hand drive, because that's what most people would do in the situation. Once again, got issues though, because a little bit congested. This guy is looking straight out. I know he's coming over to help. And then you see, I'm going... Wait, actually, I think that's my teammate. No. This man is a help defense. So if I drive left, he's coming straight over to cut me off. Okay. So then I'm going to cross over to the right. See how far I shifted him by doing this cross? He shifted trying to... How do you play when you're off ball as a small guard? Good question. As a small guard, if you want to play off ball, you have to identify what are your strengths. For example, are you a good shooter, or are you good at slashing, or are you good at setting screens? You need to identify what you're best at doing. So if you write down like what type of point guard you are, maybe I can give you some recommendations you can try to implement into your game. But one thing I found personally is, because I can shoot, and if I'm off ball, I just try to move into a place where I know that if help defense occurs, I can just shoot it. Okay, slasher and mid. This means, just personal advice, if you're better at slashing and mid, you shouldn't be just stand... What I usually do is just stand at the 3-point line. That's not something that you should do. If you're a slasher in the mid, you got to get ready to move around the court and get into positions where the defender is behind on the side of you, because as soon as your teammate passes to you, if you're a slasher, you can just go attack to the basket. Because one thing about being off ball is that you can run wherever you want. Don't need to worry about dribbling. So in my opinion, if you're a slasher and a mid-range guy, you shouldn't be hanging around the 3-point line. I recommend doing something like running around the baseline, or even cutting diagonally to the basket. It's about identifying also when your primary ball handler is ready to pass, because if you just run around, there's a high chance he's not going to find you. Usually there's a lot of plays, maybe you can look at college or pro hoops, but they run set plays where if a point guard, for example, reaches a certain position, he's going to pass the ball. So you can anticipate this and then cut at the same time. I promise, if you're good at slashing and shooting middies, if you move into the right position, defender is in the wrong place and you'll be much more open that way. The worst thing though is that if you're just standing there at the 3-point line doing nothing. So you got to work on your strengths, and then you'll get better shots from there. As you can see here, now I'm going to cross over to the right and start driving in. I know my advantage is height on a smaller defender, so I can just go on by and then lay this up. I don't know if this is a problem. I have a tendency to start laying up too far from the bucket. So I'm like gathering from... How far am I gathering? I'm gathering from the 3-point line, free throw line area. Look how far my first step is. So I'm just going to take 1-2 steps, and this is kind of far out. So I need to lay this up like a floater almost, and then up it goes, and this almost missed. So one thing you might not realize is soft touch is important. This ball hits off the back of the rim. Ooh, that could have been a bad ending, but it's going to bump twice and go in. Sometimes you get lucky. Okay, this is an example of off-ball movement. See, in the situation where I can't shoot threes, I wouldn't be going straight to the three-point line. Maybe you do have to go to check out, but essentially what I'm imagining is, in this position, my mindset is I'm not going to shoot a three straight away. The reason is because Orange is a really good closeout defender. So I know he's coming straight up to block me. So what I do is be patient. And is this a travel? Just want to check. Left foot pivot. Yeah, I kind of traveled here, but ignore that. I will try to clean up my traveling in the future because you will get away with it and pick up, but I just want to be clean. So yeah, don't do this. But anyway, I'm going to drive in. See, the look on his face is you also don't want to give away what you're doing. Make sure you don't script your movements, because in this position, my go-to move is just shoot the three. So you can see even now my eyes are looking down. So now it's going up. He's expecting me to pull that three. And then I suddenly cross into the drive. He didn't expect it. You can even see the reaction on the face. Doesn't expect it, going to drive on in. But now I need to be careful because help defense might come. Look at this. We got a man reaching in. We're getting double teamed with the help defense. But one thing you should also prioritize if you're a young and upcoming player, make sure to hold onto that ball as tightly as possible. I think that benefits a lot of people because you can see even though they reach, I don't lose the ball. And in this position, I got two guys in the paint reaching left and right, slapping down. I like to double clutch a lot. Now, this might be something that you guys are comfortable with, but it takes time and practice. If I shoot this straight away, I feel like left side is going to block the shot. See, his arm is reaching like this. I know it might be a foul, but don't really call fouls in pickup. If I lay this up normally, I feel like it's getting swatted. So instead, I am forced to do this awkward looking move. So I'm going to bring it up, but then move it a little bit to the right. Okay. Look how awkward this looks. But sometimes if you have some interesting finishes, you won't get blocked. So I'm going to finish it a little bit awkward and then throw it up like that, going down as well. Sometimes I don't even practice this, but yeah, it's going to go in. And that's another bucket. Okay, next play. Teammate looking around. I say, give me the ball. One advantage of being able to shoot is that they're going to help, not expect it, pass it straight back, and then that's a wide open bucket. Towards the end, they were getting a little bit lazy. So again, now I'm going to attack again. Now this is an interesting layup that might benefit some people to learn. Understand how you can use your body to push people out of the way. Here, I see him lacking, going to go straight in. And then in this position, I'm going to gather from a little bit behind the free throw line. I'm going to anticipate the shoulder shove. This is important. If he was playing proper defense, I still would have been able to go by. Here, he's not ready. Just shoulder away. No one's in front, air. And then I'm going to lay up. But right foot, right side lay. So this can also get it past if it's a contest, if it was happening at the baseline. Hello, welcome. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Ruerari MC. Might be a different language, but yeah. I'm anticipating a defender, so even though I'm laying up open, jump up the right foot and then hook it with the right hand. So this allows me to get some open layups. Now they just pass it right here. Again, they know that I can shoot, so anticipating a shot straight away. But sometimes it's smarter because I know he's getting ready to contest. So he left the man wide open, and they're complaining that I don't pass. But of course, if it's like this type of situation, but look, I'm trying to pretend like I'm shooting the shot. That's why they're all ready for me to contest. And then just pass it like that. And that's another open shot. Okay, teammate is going to go in. I'm getting ready. See, hand up. wide open, pass it, no hesitation, shoot that straight away. Okay, look at this, rocket step. This one's not really my highlight, I just passed the ball, but kind of could be an assist. And then I'm going to catch this ball right here. Nope. Teammate got that, camping at the 3-point line, catch it, and then shoot it. Not much feedback to incorporate right there. Let's see how we go. It's getting a little bit lazy. Too many dribbles, head down. Okay, that is a little bit of a problem. I guess the question I have is, I don't know why, it's something I've had a problem with my whole life, but I feel like I should be looking up more. I have a bad habit of looking at people's feet, trying to understand where to go. And then here I'm going to do very awkward in and outs. Is this a suboptimal movement right here? 2 in and outs. I guess I'm trying to feel like if I'm going to shoot that, will I be open? So I'm going to do it again. And then looking down at the feet. I'm trying to understand if the defender will go up to contest the shot or stay down. Because now I'm going to step back. Again, I have every type of step back in the bag. So I'm going to go like this, step back. Surprisingly, I don't know why in this game, usually I don't step this far back from the line. So anyway, I'm going to step back like this. And this is NBA 3-point line. Potentially it's because I'm used to shooting these type of shots in the game. But yeah. Anyway. I'm going to shoot that up. Nope, I'm going to fake it. See, I would have been comfortable shooting it, but in that case, I passed it. And then I'm going to reset it to try again. And then this time, I'm just going to go drive and then, yep, step back mid-range shot. So varying up the shot selection, that's something I like to do. Once again, same thing. Nope, crossover spin and then pass it out. I understand that I could work on that passing a little bit, and then teammate's going to shoot it and it's going in. And then finally going to drive in. Oh, look at that layup. That's something that people don't expect. So once again, there's like a benefit for being able to shoot. So once I'm driving, look how far out. They're expecting me to shoot a 3. Especially the screen and roll game, it's quite important. So once I drive in, I got the ball in front, and then I can rise up. I enjoy this type of layup because look how high I get. This is quite unblockable unless you're athletic and trying to chase me down. Okay, another thing, haters, they say I can only shoot, well, you got a little bit of driving, right? And then go up and then lay that in. And hopefully if I come back from injury, maybe I can try to dunk again. Very unlikely at this rate, but let's see how that goes. Alright, so that's all of the highlights there. So I really do want to spend some time to address some of the comments that this man had. It is very valid though, so I do give him credit. Let me just reply to his comment. I understand his feedback, but there's a few things I need to address. A lot of useless dribble moves, yes, but at least when you dribble, okay. So he's saying here, I wouldn't say it's a lot of useless. I think the intention was I was trying to do a step back, but then I accidentally fumbled it. So in this position, if I didn't fumble it, I would have just done a step back and then rose up and shot the ball. But yeah, I fumbled it there. That's my fault. I wouldn't say a lot of useless in that position. Over here, what's going on here? Let's see. This is not useless. That was the move. Okay, so I understand the point. I will acknowledge and accept. Understanding reaction and counter. Between the legs will cross very often. Again, valid criticism, but I think being able to understand and react and counter, that's probably something that happens at the higher levels. I'm not a pro hooper, so something I could try to improve on, but it's probably too late to do pro level reaction and counters. A lot of dribbling, okay, the second time he's mentioned the dribble, okay, he mentioned dribbling like half the points are related to dribbling. I understand his point, okay. You get tired quickly. Try to use triple threat more often, more simple, more efficient. Maybe I'll try. Okay, so for the next filming session tomorrow, I'm going to try this out. So let me just write a list of things that I need to do for tomorrow. Let's see, open up some notes. Okay, so for tomorrow's session, some things I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to film tomorrow some pickup for anyone new that's watching. So filming for tomorrow. All right, so first thing we're going to learn is less useless dribbles. Okay, try more triple threat. Reaction encounters, I don't think that's something that's easy to implement in one day, so I can't write this on the list because understanding how to counter certain defensive stances is based on having a lot of experience. When you're dribbling, please do not look at the floor. Why? It looks, if I just look at it without looking at your friend's opponents, you'll lose a lot of opportunity. I think it's situational. So look less at ground. The reason why I do it is to see their feet placement and understand how to attack. Actually, a lot of people like Kyrie Irving, they do look at the ground a lot. But I'll have that as a point to try to do for tomorrow. Okay. You don't have to start dribbling when you get the ball. If you're playing 3v3, I understand, but 5v5, please analyze the game, opportunity to pass, or set play. If you don't know the set play, you should have to learn playmaking, bro. Okay, I think this is, again, situational. When we play these type of pickup games, we're not the type of people to pass. So if you look at the full game, you'll notice that most of the people aren't passing themselves. So if I pass the ball, I'm never getting a shot. It's something you'll realize. But usually if I play with other people, I tend to pass a lot more often. And I do play make. So I believe this is situational. So I don't think I can do much here. Obviously in a 5v5, I'll pass the ball more often. Try to pass the ball better. A lot of kids just pass the ball like middle school kids playing for the first time. Again, I'm passing because I'm trapped and stuck. Okay, improved passing, fair enough. More accurate passing for tomorrow. I think middle school kids is a little bit too extreme. Come on. What's the difference between middle school kids and normal people passing? This guy is just exaggerating. I assume middle school kids will be passing it with less force. Okay, fair enough. So more accurate passing for tomorrow. I know you're the type of guy who likes scoring, but being a scoring first... Okay, without high IQ... This man is literally roasting me. Okay, fair enough. Such as you will get trapped double teamed or you're not even can't score... I don't think English is first language. Trap double teamed, not even can't score because defender geniuses. Watch out. I'm pretty sure the reason I'm getting double teamed and trapped is because I'm recording. If I'm not recording the videos, they wouldn't be double teaming like this. It's because people don't want to end up on the other side of highlights. So this high IQ trapping stuff, I do know how to deal with traps and stuff. But if I pass it out every time, I'm not going to get any clips. So, okay. Turn you into a problem. Understand this point, but we're playing pickup. So I'm trying to make clips. You got to understand from that perspective. If I'm not going out there trying to score, how am I supposed to get clips? Because if you just become passive, the other guys on the team, they would just try to keep continuously scoring. And yeah, that's not how we play. In terms of IQ, I feel like if you watch more of me playing, maybe your opinion will change. Lot of opportunities, open man to cut to the basket effortlessly, need some vision. Fun fact, also building basketball, looking at the floor. Okay, this one right here, I actually know when people are cutting to the basket. It's situational. Sometimes I know that the defender that they're on or people can rotate fast enough, but this one I do when the time comes. But again, I'm playing with random people. I'm not going to trust them if I pass them to finish, especially after so many misses. If you see the full uncut video, you'll understand what I mean. And then that's all. Very good shooter, good scorer. Improvements next video. So these are the 3 key points that I take from his comments. So yes, I'll try to implement less useless dribbles, maybe triple threat. This to avoid unnecessary movements. Looking less at the ground, that is something, definitely is something I can work on. And more accurate passing, yes. Okay, I think it's just for that game. Passing was probably not the best, so I'll implement those 3 options. Okay, next thing. All right. Okay. So I know people wouldn't be watching at this point in time, but we're gonna go through what is happening next. What I've been posting lately. What shorts? Okay, so let's give you a rundown of what's going on with the content. I'll show you kind of my channel progress. I'm actually very happy with how far I've come, because if you go back straight to the beginning, you'll notice the content is like all over the place. Like most people won't know this, but I started off posting random stuff, so it's probably what you wouldn't expect. But as I continued, it kind of went more into like reactions. And then after reactions, I was doing NBA for a long time. You can see how many months, 7 months ago. No IRL whatsoever. So after this period of time, I started getting a little bit more comfortable, and then it was going well. So in terms of being a basketball IRL channel, it's not been that long actually. So if you come back, I only started posting IRL recently. So let's go straight to that. So if I look exactly at what point I started posting IRL long form, it's literally after the NBA finals, a month after the NBA finals. And I posted this. This looks like a travel, but it's legal. So initially, I thought that posting long form content was going to do well, but views, not so well. So I had to pivot my channel. So in terms of what my channel has become, it's a lot of IRL content, not something I expected. There's a point where the NBA finals ended, so I was doing the Flight Reacts type reactions for the longest amount of time. And then roughly around thoughts on Melo and the Timberwolves. Honestly, I like it. It's fun to see LaMelo Ball play. I don't really mind LaMelo Ball not winning that many games, but that man is fun to watch. Can you imagine the interviews with him and Anthony Edwards? Oh, those guys are gonna go crazy. The one thing is they're always honest. They don't lie, and they don't have any filter. No PR training whatsoever. LaMelo Ball is a funny guy. So if you look at the progress of the channel, I started purely with basketball reactions, and they were doing very well. If you look at the view counts, okay, sometimes they don't do well, but 36K, 5K, 4K, this is good progress. And then I ran out of content because the season ended, and then I pivoted to like FIBA, Paddy Mills. He did well. A lot of Australian people like him. And then I tried off-season content, and to be honest, off-season content did not do well whatsoever. I think there's just too many people covering the same sort of things. And then I pivoted towards IRL. So the very first one I made early on, this was an absolute flop. Okay, thank you for watching the stream. I promise you, I will get better from here. I know there's only like a few people here, but one day it could be hundreds of people. I actually personally know a few streamers as well. So Anastasia, you might have heard about her. Bot comment, okay. We'll see about that. If you keep commenting, I'll know if you're a bot or not. I actually have heard that YouTube has a lot of bots these days, so maybe half of my comments are bots, you never know. But Alan, I know you're real, so thank you for being there. Yes, also, if you look at the progress of how, this might be a lesson that I'll turn into a long form. So that's why I'm going to treat this like it was a long form video. But IRL did not exist on my channel until after the NBA finals when I ran out of content. So by this point in time, I was a little bit scared. So what I do, turn on the camera, get my friend to film me, and here we go. Not a step back. This is legal. First IRL video ever. 3K views. Not bad. I kept posting the off-season stuff as well. And then I tried to do a reaction to an IRL video. That's kind of weird. So it did okay, 7.3K views. And then I did another reaction to an IRL of myself. I think that is a niche that can work. 1.7K, not too great. And then I transitioned to IRL only. 871. This is terrible. So one thing, if you're trying to start out, what's the highest level of basketball you played? I only played high school hoops. So actually, I've never played reps. I've never played semi-pro, never played pro. I am the definition of a casual hooper. Never had coaching except for like, high school. I think even high school I was on like a mid-average looking team. So what my lesson to the young guys is whatever position you're in, you can always get better. Don't worry if you're not a rep or not the best player at your school or on your team. You can always work on your game and improve. So something that I regret is probably never playing reps or any sort of high level of basketball, but it doesn't matter, I have less pressure. There's no one to bench me if I take a terrible shot. I just play the game, post content, and I do not try to compete with anyone else. Okay. So after I posted this short right here, still doing the reactions, and this is when I started to get some traction. So then I started posting about like interesting layups, some weird moves. So I kind of have like a list of all the different type of shorts ideas, and then try to film. Early on, it was half an hour session at AUSA or House at Chatswood, and then I'll film, I would say 10 shorts in half an hour. So I was going back to back to back. All of these clips, I just filmed this straight back to back. All of this from one session, and you can see the views. 22K on a catch your own airball. That at the time blew me away because I'm like, people want to watch this. It's like 10 seconds, 15 seconds long, and it got that many views. So I knew I was onto something. So after this, I had to keep on going. So what you're going to see is more and more of the stuff. I try to do interesting things, testing out between rules and then what do you call it, trick shotting and stuff, and then weird stuff. We continue, but as it goes, you can see the views. Nah, they're so. But then they're gonna go crazy. So we got 30K. Where's the ball? This ball video got 960K views. This is when I knew that it might not even be basketball that people are watching me for. It could just be interesting things on the internet. So then I try to follow up with an electric pump, and that didn't do well at all, but we keep grinding. I think rules do super well on my channel. Like FIBA NBA rule differences, that's kind of interesting. And there's a lot more content, and views still keep going up. So I'm very happy with the consistency. 40K, that's very good. 28, 27. And then we get to like recently, these pickup game videos are surprisingly doing bad. Other than basketball, good question. The thing is, I don't know, because I'll tell you the way that YouTube works now. So if you look at the current YouTube ecosystem, it's basically very niche heavy. So let's say I'd have basketball here. Let me get a better pen. Okay, so let's say you have basketball here. And then what else am I going to do? Like food, for example. Okay, so the problem is, if I develop an audience of like basketball, I even have like a bit of Gundam. Okay, so we have Gundam here. And then I feel like there is somewhat overlap between the two, but not really much. So I think my audience roughly, I think Gundam would probably be like this much. Let's say I do food channel, then I'm going to have food channel, but where's my audience? I have all my subscribers over here. So this means if I post a food video, these guys, if I watch basketball, am I going to watch food? Maybe. The problem is, a lot of these guys will get recommended the food video, and then it's going to result in poor watch time and CTR. So CTR and watch time are some of the most important things for YouTube. So if these if these metrics tank early on, it's more likely that the videos will fail. So a lot of people recommend that actually if I were to branch out into other forms of content, probably better to start a new channel. So that's something I really do have to consider. I really do want to go into other areas. Let's say you're a streamer, they have a lot of different niches, but then it becomes more of like personal branding. So that's why I think the next step is to maybe don't think so specifically on the niche, but rather the shift from the topic to the person. So I think that's super important when trying to build a channel. So if I'm considering like where I could go, so just scrap all of this over here. Highlight, select and delete. Okay, so the next stage I think for this channel is to build personality. Yes, correct. So I need to build my personal brand. So that's kind of like why I'm thinking about this streaming stuff, because even though I'm talking about basketball most of the time, people have an opportunity to hop online and they can ask me questions like immediately. There is no delay with me waiting to post the video and then comment and then back and forth. It's like instantaneous. You can see like as you're talking to me, it's kind of like a conversation. Even though it's just you and me right now, Alan, in the future, you know, the community can grow. So I also think I chose a very bad time to start my first stream because it's in the middle of exams for university and high school. Okay. Yes, that is a good point. Because personality is something that will overlap with everything. But some people have very small personalities that can't really expand. I think the only way to get a better personality is to just keep doing the things and try to gain a bigger audience, because think about every single streamer that you know, they all started with a very small niche. Like if you think about Jason the Win, this guy started with Valorant streaming every single day. IShowSpeed started playing Fortnite every single day. All of the big guys on YouTube and Twitch, they started from a very specific niche, and most of them is gaming inside your own house on like a monitor. Now think about why that is. It's because it's low cost and it's you don't have to do anything, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to rely on other people. And also if you're playing games, all you do is literally talk to the camera. So I think to develop a personality, it just comes with consistency and engagement with the audience. That's why I'm trying to do streams, to kind of engage with the audience, give them a forum where they can just hop on in and then ask me, talk to me, have a chat. Because at the end of the day, I treat my audience like friends. If you're not toxic, we can talk back and forth. I can help you out, give you advice. And even this stream right now, even though we didn't have that many people on board, there was a few questions here and there, and I really helped. Hope I helped some of you guys out there. So yeah, I think personality, it's got to come down to consistency. You probably need to have a little bit of something beforehand as well. Anyone could do that though. Anyone can have a great personality, but to be able to articulate and show that on camera is a different thing. Wait, what happened here? Oh, sorry, let me fix this. Okay, because let's just say you're the most charismatic guy on YouTube. I think there are also a lot of other factors that come into play if you're considering personality, because you need to be able to project that onto the internet. So I think one thing that I probably struggle with is like what to frame it as, because what makes people like good to watch? For example, are they funny? Are they do they teach? That's like other thing, teach. What else? They're weird or relatable. I think relatable is like another thing. But it really does depend on who you are as a person. So for me personally, I think I'm gonna lean more towards the teaching. So the personality can expand through teaching. You can become relatable. I can give you advice. Think about it. if I'm teaching people about basketball rules and then like having fun about basketball, it can become like motivational. So you could potentially even see me in some sort of like motivational role, giving advice, maybe even like how to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube in less than a year. Maybe I could be the guy that gives people advice. But I think the one thing is to just keep on going. If you even like look at the way that the channel is progressing, the content, if you look like even a month or two ago, it's so random. But recently I found things that work for me, and the numbers just reflect the what people want. So whatever you comment in my comments or comment, reach out to me, I will do what you want because I listen to the people. Everything you have here, these are not doing so well, but I listen to the people. And if you look at the views, you can see that the high views, they were all Gundams before, but even the recent IRL shorts, they're starting to climb up. And I think TikTok and Instagram are definitely ways to grow much faster because, well, I haven't checked TikTok in a while, but views at the beginning, not so great. But if you look recently, 328,000 views. Yikes, that's a lot of people. So I think the next stage for me is to convert these random viewers into loyal fans. TikTok is great for discovery, but I really am not sure about the conversion. So let's see if I can bring up my statistics. To be honest, is it more important to follow what the audience wants or what you want? I think early on, it's got to be what the audience wants. Because I personally have a lot of friends that try to make content that they want. They can't get out of 100 subscribers. Like, I'm sorry, but it's 2026. Everyone wants to be an influencer, and I'll show you some of my friends. If you do what you want, there is a high chance that the algorithm just won't promote you. So this is my friend, right? He wants to do what he wants, but I feel like if he can make his channel into something that the people want. See, now it's like doing mukbangs and food. People want to see this type of content. 17.6k views, that's the highest he's ever got. Anyone that's watching, please follow this man because he's producing banger content and he's kind of switched to like what's popping. Because Instagram, you go on Instagram to look at like food influencers and stuff, right? I think he's found the winning formula because he's doing these like 1 meal a day challenges, and honestly, it's so fun to watch. So I think, Alan, maybe it's something a mix between the two because you have to do a little bit of what the audience wants, otherwise you're gonna have no views. Look at this stream right now. Literally nobody is watching because I'm doing something that I want. Audience didn't ask for it. But something like the ball, this is something I feel like the audience wants to see. I not necessarily like the ball itself, but I know it has potential. So I think sometimes it really just depends on a lot of factors. But if you only post what you want to do, there's a high chance that nobody's going to look and it's going to take a very long time to start up. But yeah, it's got to be a Venn diagram and you're trying to seek the middle between what people want and what you like to do. Plenty of YouTubers I follow that teach this type of stuff. Okay. Oh, another thing I want to do is highlight my own Instagram. For some reason, Instagram is extremely bad for growth. The same videos do terribly. 300k on TikTok, but only 5,000 on Instagram. These numbers don't line up that well. So I'm going to have to say Instagram, not doing well whatsoever. Even have like other people collaborating and stuff, still only 1,600 views. Something is definitely up with the Instagram algorithm and I cannot figure it out. But I guess what's working for me right now is TikTok. TikTok is absolutely popping off. Unfortunately, TikTok doesn't make money though, but I guess at the beginning, money shouldn't be the focus. It's all about growth. I think 1.83k is doing well. These recent long forms, they're getting traction. I think the other thing is that I feel like people are starting to support me more. So I have more flexibility in including other people into the content. Okay, finally, let's have a brief look at what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to bring that up. Upcoming content. Okay. So the next pickup session is going to be tomorrow night. I have a lot of 1v1 ideas, but just need some time to think about how to implement. I want to do like the 1v1 tall people versus short people, just to see if tall people always are better, but it's kind of hard to find similarly skilled tall and short people, especially in a 1v1 scenario that I arrange. So a little bit hard to do that. Skills you want to test. Skills could be like evaluating people's layup ability or shooting ability, stuff like that. I would definitely 1v1 a fan. That I would be so down. The problem is my fans are 60% Americans, is very high. So finding someone local, I mean, if you're willing to comment down below, definitely down. I feel like I also need to improve the editing, camera filming. That for me has been a struggle. Like for me personally, I think I need to upgrade my camera equipment. I need to get another phone because right now I'm using my friends' phones to film. I'm having troubles. So I'm going to show you that before I end the stream. So I'm going to wrap up in about 10 minutes. But yes, using other people's equipment to film, pain. Because of that, I have to get the footage and I've wasted a week trying to follow that up. Okay, this stuff, let's just go straight into the... Need some advice on the camera angles. Okay, so right now, tomorrow, yes, you can if you're based in Sydney, but the only thing is, ideally, you're over 18 years old or you have written consent from your parents, because I know people online have problems with filming under 18s. I can actually get my channel banned if I film minors and include it in the video without parents' permission. So sorry if you're a kid, but that's something I need to be careful about. Usually when YouTubers, they film under 18, because I went to an event for a basketball camp for a J-Law camp. I'll show you that video. So I actually went to this guy's basketball camp, J-Law, and actually had to fill out a form that was saying that if you're a parent, you allow your kid to be filmed and posted online. So if I do 1v1 a fan that's underage, I will need your parents' permission. Okay. But yeah, I went to this camp, so I could see like how they film the stuff, like the angles and stuff. So I'm trying to replicate that. So for tomorrow's game, I probably can work it out with you guys, but let's say this is the half court. Okay, I'll try to draw this as best I can. But let's say I have this is the half court. And then let's say this is the 3-point line. I'm having troubles thinking about where to place the cameras. I have two of my own cameras, a phone and then a Sony ZV-1, an actual camera. And then I have my friend's phone. The struggle I'm having right now, and then if you guys help me sort this out, end the stream and then try to implement it tomorrow. Where do I put the cameras, and do I use tripod or someone holds the phones? My current setup is I have a tripod at the back. So let's say this is the camera on this back left, and then I have a friend holding a phone here, and then a friend holding a phone here. So I filmed it last week. I haven't edited it yet, but the camera angle from this side is very bad because a lot of people, they're not used to filming on camera. So maybe I can give you guys like a preview, because maybe one day you'll be potential influencers. Maybe you want to learn how to edit. So I'll give you a quick preview, sneak peek for my loyal fans about the video that's coming out at the end of the week. But the problem I have is the camera angles. It's like they're always shaking. So I'm planning to put it on a tripod for tomorrow, and then at least the footage is stable. Okay, so if I pull it out. Okay, so I think you can see on the screen, but this is kind of like what I'm editing right now. I have a few timelines, but I have 3 different camera angles. So let me just make this a bit bigger so you guys can see. All right, so this is the normal camera angle. and then here is the left baseline, and then here is the right baseline. As you can see, who is filming the right side? Where are we looking? Look how terrible that this footage. It's not even tracking the ball properly. So, from my opinion, I think it's better to just like have it on a tripod, because if I'm watching this, I'm getting like a headache. Look how closely zoomed in it is. You see they're like checking the ball. He's gonna go forward, pass it around, but I literally can't see where the ball's going. Like, what type of panning is this? So I think tripod for tomorrow night might be a bit better. If you look at this left angle, this is my favorite angle. It looks like a professional recording. Look at this. Isn't this imagine a 1v1. This is beautiful. And he makes that shot. And then finally the camera angle. Have you guys have a look, sneak peek. The camera angle is okay, but I don't know, it feels like some CCTV footage for me. It's not that great. So I think my favorite angle was this right side not good, the left side. I just want to know, having someone move the camera along as well versus a tripod, I feel like, let me know, do you think having someone holding the camera moving around makes it look better, like more intense like this, or just fixed on a tripod? So I think I'm gonna keep the back angle as the CCTV view, like just in case, but have the right side baseline as a tripod, left side, I don't know. Do you think it should be 3 tripods? I think Alan, Andy, do you have any recommendations or tripod for 3? Okay. So this is why I stream, because now I'm gonna fix it on 3 tripods, and we're gonna do it tomorrow night and see how it comes out. But this video preview you're watching right now, this is gonna drop on Thursday or Friday. You can see this camera angle right now is looking pretty good. So look at this, look how close in. Oh yeah, you can see catch the ball, swing it around, and then shoot that. But versus the other angle, oh, there's one person watching. Okay, so maybe the comments. See this one right here. Sorry, I think. Wait, sorry. I was reading comments of the preview. Yeah, this one right here. Thank you for fixing that. Okay, I just feel like it doesn't look as intense as the baseline. So tomorrow we're gonna set up the 3 cameras, I guess, and then 2 baseline on tripods. I think we're gonna roll with that. This one is just a safety. Okay, it does look clean at times, so oh yeah, missed that. But yeah, that's kind of a preview of tomorrow night. But we're gonna keep pumping out this content. So you're gonna see me. Thank you guys for staying here and helping me out, because I think you got given me some great advice. So yeah. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps up my first ever stream. Wow, it's almost been an hour and a half. So thank you guys for sticking around. Everyone that's joining, leave any feedback in maybe comments of my recent videos if you have any. I'll implement that. But yes, thanks for sticking around. I might cut up this video into some summaries for some of the topics that I went through. But I'll see you guys next time. Maybe I'll stream again later, probably next week for the same sort of concept. So yeah, peace out, and I hope to see you guys later. Bye.